Welcome to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost with me, Charly Leetham. If you're a small business owner looking to simplify technology and get real, actionable advice from someone with 35 years of IT experience, you're in the right place. Every episode, I'll dive into tools and systems like email, CRM, marketing, and tracking, and I'll break them down into bite-sized tips you can use straight away. Your time is valuable, so let's get straight to the point. It's time to work smarter, not harder. Rise and shine. It's your dose of business tech inspiration with me, Charly Leetham. Please forgive the lumberjack look or the Arctic look. I'm a little cold. I've got a bit of a cold. I want to do this episode, but I don't want to freeze doing it. Yes, I hate the cold, in case anyone hasn't gathered. All right, today we're going to be talking about, are we paying hidden costs in our cloud hosting plan? Things to go and look for. In all transparency, if you've been watching this podcast for 600 odd episodes, you'll know that I run my own hosting company. I offer hosting to clients. One of the reasons I offer it is because of what we're going to be discussing today. And one of the things I found that just really annoyed me, and I'm just going to preface this episode by saying, I'm not saying you should come and buy my hosting. I'm saying I offer it. And one of the reasons I offer it is because of these reasons. Wherever you're hosting is probably fine. I'm not going to say it's going to be totally fine. It's probably fine. You might find a nugget of information in here that you can take and look at your plans and see whether any of these apply to you. So when we look at cloud hosting plans, quite often the price looks quite reasonable. You look at it, yeah, that's cool. My business can afford that. Sometimes it looks more than affordable. It looks cheap. What we were finding, what a lot of my clients are finding, is that later, when the bill comes or something happens, the cost is actually much higher than what the ticket price was showing. So today I want to go through where some of those hidden costs show up in cloud hosting accounts, why they can catch you out, and how you can control them before you get hit with them. So let's talk about what hidden costs in cloud hosting actually means. So data transfer fees are the first one. Most providers will charge extra for bandwidth. Well, some providers will charge extra for bandwidth. While inbound data, that's traffic coming into your server, so that's a visitor coming to your site, is usually free. Outbound data, which is the content going out to your users, your web pages, the images that you share, the videos that you stream that are hosted on your web server, documents that they can download, that sort of stuff. That's outbound data. That is where the costs stack up. The more visitors you get, the higher your bill. If your site serves media files, videos, data, documents, PDFs, anything that can be downloaded, these costs can skyrocket quite quickly. Even transferring data between regions or using a content delivery network may trigger extra fees. This is one that I've seen a lot. I've had someone come to me and say, we've been hit with a big bill this month. We don't know where we're using our data. It says we've used this much data. Where are we using it? And I've gone and had a look. And it's such a common thing. They've taken a photo from the camera. They've said this will make a really great image on our homepage or on this sales page, and they've uploaded that image as is to their homepage or their sales page. That image is 2 megabytes in size. Now that doesn't sound big to us when we're looking at it on our computers. It's 2 meg. Okay, takes up a bit of disk space. When we're talking about terabyte data, terabyte storage spaces and terabyte cloud storage, it's not a lot of space. It doesn't take up much room, really, as a percentage. On a web server, though, that 2 megabytes downloads every time someone loads that page. So if you've got 10 visitors come to that page, that's 20 megabytes of data that downloads before you even download anything else on that page. So it can really, really add up. So the data transfer fees are a big one that kind of hit people and they don't realize it. Storage costs. I really love this one. I see accounts that say you've got unlimited storage, and yes, you do. They say you can store as much as you like on here. Then they tell you that they have an inode limit. Is it an inode limit? I think it's an inode limit or a files limit. You think, what the hell does that mean? Well, they're not actually looking at the amount of space you're using. They're looking at the number of files you've uploaded. So if you've got, for example, a WordPress website that has lots of little files, that's going to eat up your file limit much, much quicker than just looking at how much disk space it takes, because there are lots of little files, but there's lots of little files. So you've got your storage costs. That might be in terms of the amount of space you're actually using, the amount of disk space you're actually using, or it might be in terms of the number of files, the number of endpoints that you've actually got on that disk. It's a bit tricky, and it's certainly something that I have seen trip up people. Some providers even price different storage regions at different rates. So if you're archiving your data using systems like AWS or Glacier, retrieving it later often costs more than you expect. So what looks like it's cheap storage or a cheap hosting plan because you've got unlimited storage becomes quite expensive when you need it the most. And the next one that I've found that is really interesting is the support tiers. Most hosting companies will advertise 24/7 support, and they do. It's 24/7 support. You can send them an email anytime. They may not respond for 8 hours, but it's still 24/7 support. You can send them an email or you can send them a chat message and they'll respond when they're able. What the reality of that is that the cheapest plans generally include community forums or email tickets only, as I was just indicating. If you want phone support, if you want faster response times, if you want a dedicated account manager, you have to pay for an upgraded support package. Businesses often don't realize they're only covered for best effort responses until something really goes wrong. This was one of the regions I actually ended up moving from my last commercial hosting provider before I started running up my own service and supporting them for myself. I found I was doing more of the support myself than they were doing, and they were charging me like $300 a month for support. And I sat down one day and I went, so I know all this stuff. I know that when something goes wrong, I know how to get in, I know how to fix it. I know how to fix it for my clients because my clients were with the same provider and we would, I was supporting them and liaising with the support team. And then we'd get these emails from this provider saying, oh, we notice you're not on our support plan. You should be on this support plan. It's like, but the plan includes support. You give us managed hosting. Oh, well, we only manage it to a. So yeah, that was one of the reasons why I moved off and decided to do my own thing. Over provisioning. This is a big one. So over provisioning, just let me read my notes here. Cloud providers, they love to oversell. This is how they offset their costs. They will suggest CPU, RAM, and storage packages that are bigger than you need just in case. That's one way of over provisioning. They will say to you, oh, yeah, look, you've got this tiny little website. We think you should take a 4 GB RAM site and have all of this space. In actuality, you rarely use more than a gigabyte of RAM. So you've got all this extra resource sitting there, all these extra resources sitting there that you're barely using. You're paying for it, but you're not using it. So sometimes you can scale down, and providers don't make that easy to find. That's one way to over provision. The other way to over provision, it's also overselling. They will say, okay, we've got this big piece of tin sitting here that we're going to break up into cloud services, cloud BPSs, for example. We know that we can get 10 sites that run this many resources on it. Each site running this many resources. So what we're going to do is we're going to sell 15 of those sites on that piece of tin, because not everyone is going to be using those resources all of the time. So we're going to try and budget so that we can get a little bit more out of the box before we have to upgrade it. In all fairness, I understand that it's not a bad approach. You do need to be aware of it though, because as soon as the performance starts to tank, you need to be saying what's wrong, what's wrong, what's wrong, because then they'll do something about it. The final one that they do is add-ons and extras. They'll charge you for backups. I don't think it's a bad idea, but they don't tell you that you've got to pay for your backups. They'll charge you for your backups. They'll charge you big dollars for SSL certificates. I'll cover that in just a moment. Monitoring tools and even basic firewalls. They're all sold separately. Individually, they don't look expensive, but once you put a couple of $5 a month or $10 a month add-ons onto your plan, you're now up to $30 or $40 extra a month on top of your hosting plan. They all add up. Some competitors will actually include these features in their base price, so it's important to compare. Now, okay, that was a note, and I read that really poorly. I want to talk about SSL certificates specifically because this is something that I have found working with my clients on other hosting providers. Some providers will say, no, you've got to pay $100 a year for an SSL certificate, which doesn't sound like a lot of money, and it's not really. When you could do something like put your name services, put your DNS management through a service like Cloudflare, and they will give you the SSL certificate on the free account at no cost. So there's $100 a year you don't have to spend if you know how to set up your system properly. Backups are another one. There should always be a basic backup on a hosting provider. It should be, it could be, it should be probably a best effort. We will back this server up once a week. We will make all efforts to make sure that the backup is available and that you can recall it, but it's all care, no responsibility. And I understand that. If you want real backups, if you want to make sure that your site is being backed up, if you want to make sure you have a belts and braces approach, you do need to make sure you've got your own backup. So I totally get why backups are taken out of the standard. There should always be a base level of backup on it. Okay, so let's talk about why some of these costs can catch you off guard. I've already spoken about what they are, and I've started to sort of dig into it. More complex pricing models. Cloud providers love starting at prices. The entry rate looks low. The real costs are buried in complicated pricing tables. They're buried in, I don't know if I need it, maybe I'll take it, or you won't take it and then you go in and start using it. Oh, that was actually a core feature that we needed, but no one actually told me about it. You've got to dig into the fine print. Otherwise you'll miss how bandwidth, storage, and support are actually charged. Sometimes you just don't have the time to do it. Sometimes it comes down to the expertise and the understanding of what the terminology in that sales document and in those terms and conditions actually means. That's where someone like me can help you out. Usage unpredictability. Hosting is not static. If your site gets a spike in visitors or your content library grows, your usage surges, that means your bill is going to too eventually. A single viral post, a seasonal promotion, uploading an image from your camera without doing any optimization on it can lead to hundreds of dollars in unexpected overage charges. Budgeting becomes almost impossible. Many business owners also assume that things like your backups, your SSL certificates, and basic security are standard. I don't think it's unreasonable that you expect that. You do need to make sure that you check your terms and conditions. What seems like a fully featured plan when you first sign up often turns out to be a bare bones plan. So make sure you are checking your terms and conditions. Provider lock-in. Once you've set up a hosting provider, moving away is expensive and disruptive. Well, they'd like you to think that. Providers know this. Providers want you to think that. That's why they can raise rates and introduce new fees, because they count on you staying put. They count on the inertia of having to make that change. That they can just say, yeah, we're just going to up the fees this year. This lock-in effect keeps you paying more than you should, simply because migrating appears to be hard. I'm going to keep saying that. It appears to be hard. I migrate client sites all the time. Might be difficult for you to do it. Come to someone like me and we can get it done really quickly at a reasonable price. Most hosting bills are set up to auto pay. That means line items like data transfer overage, premium storage regions can slip by unnoticed. By the time you spot them, months may have gone by without regular monitoring. Hidden costs stay hidden until the total spend becomes a real problem. Sorry, I had to pause just there. I just had someone come through the door and I had to pause because of the noise. Okay, so total spend can become a real problem because of auto billing. So you do need to make sure you audit your invoices. So how do we control and reduce our hidden costs? I've covered a lot of that as we've gone through this discussion. Audit your invoices. Don't just accept when a bill goes through and it auto pays for you that it's okay. Honestly, as business owners, it is incumbent on us to make sure we check what we're being billed for, make sure we are paying for what we're using and not for what people think we should be paying for. Are there backup charges? Has an SSL renewed? Is there a data overuse? Do you need them all, or are you paying for unused extras? Understanding the breakdown is the only way to cut waste. Benchmark your providers. Don't assume all hosting is priced the same way. Compare what your current provider includes against competitors. Some managed hosts bundle backups, SSL, and support into a single price. Others break them out. When you look at an all-in cost, you may find different hosts save money in different ways, even if the headline price looks higher. Use monitoring tools. Most platforms give you dashboards that show CPU bandwidth and storage usage. Use them. There are also third-party tools that can flag underused resources or alert you when you are close to your limits. Just be careful. Some of those tools can cost you actually more than you're going to save. So it's always that, do I really want to do this? Do I not want to do it? That's a decision that you're going to have to make. Monitoring gives you visibility so that you're not blindsided by these overcharges or overusage. Not overcharges, overuse charges. There we go. Extra charges. Make sure your resources are the right size for what you want. Are you paying for capacity you're not needing? If your site is only using 20% of your CPU or disk space you're paying for, maybe you can scale down. Maybe you can optimize what it is you're doing. Many providers now offer auto scaling, so you can only pay for what you use during peaks. Right sizing your resources ensures your spend matches your needs. So it's a really adjusting time. Negotiate or switch. Finally, don't be afraid to talk to your provider or talk to someone like me. Ask about bundled features, discounts for long-term contracts, or optimizations to lower your costs. If your providers won't work with you, make a plan to migrate. Come and talk to someone like me. I love helping people, and this sort of thing, I do it every day. It's like breathing. I could probably write the process in my dreams now. Yep, it can be inconvenient, but sometimes it's the only way to constrain your cost creep. So if you're paying hidden costs in your cloud hosting plan, are you? For most businesses, the answer is maybe. It says here yes. My notes say yes. I'm going to say maybe. The good news is that once you know where to look, bandwidth, storage, support, over provisioning, all those add-ons, you can take control. Audit your bills, monitor your usage, right size your resources, and don't be afraid to shop around. Come talk to someone like me. Cloud hosting doesn't have to bleed your budget, but you do have to manage it actively. Okay, guys. Have I said something here that you disagree with? Have I said something here that's asked more questions than I've answered? What's your own experience? I would love to know. Come and join my community, askcharlyleetham.locals.com. I would love to host you there. You can always leave comments wherever you're watching or listening to this video. I will get to them eventually. If this video has been helpful to you, give it a like. I would really appreciate that. Maybe share it with a friend. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell, and remember, I put this podcast out every other day. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Hey there, thanks so much for tuning in to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost. I hope today's episode gave you some actionable insights that will make your business tech work smarter for you. If you found value, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other small business owners who could use a daily boost. For more tips, tools, and resources, visit www.askcharlyleetham.com. Until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and let's make tech simple together.